welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'll be taking a look at some Forza Horizon 5 gameplay and performance. This time I'll be using the RTX 3090 Ti, so I'm expecting some decent performance. Quickly go through the in-game settings. So playing at a resolution of 3840 by 2160 and no VSync, so I just want to have the game running at its maximum that it can. Now in terms of graphics, everything's on extreme. And I've got 4 times MSAA. At 4K you don't really need any more than that. Even 4 may seem excessive, so that should be fine. And FXA, I don't like mixing the anti-aliasing methods, so I'll choose one out of 2. And that is pretty much it. This is about as good as the game's going to look, so let's see how the game performs. So I've pretty much beat most of the races on the game. Got a few left to do, but I'm just going to drive to a Colossal event and see how this game performs. Man, Bugatti Divo is such an amazing car. Turn 10, or playground game should I say. It's done such an amazing game. Such an amazing job with this game. It's just, when I started playing it originally, I couldn't put it down. And for a driving game, it's just a hell of a lot of fun. I know Gran Turismo 7's more sim-based, more serious, but this is just miles more fun, honestly. Man, this car's fast. Easily braking 230 miles per hour like it's nothing. So getting way over 60 frames per second, that's for sure. That's definitely not going to be a concern. And one thing I love about this card, so I'm using the Asus TUF OC.
In 400 yards, turn right.
And it cools so well. I mean,
turn right.
I usually have my
Recalculating route.
I'm just going to go back on myself. This is the thing about talking and driving. It can distract you. I'm going to go off-road for a bit. So usually I have my fan speed around 80%, but I can afford to drop it even lower.
Yards, turn left.
And the cooling performance pretty much stays the same. The card basically silent at that point, so very, very good cooler, the TUF.
Turn left.
And as you can see, with a game like this, you're not really hitting the power limits. So holding over 2150 megahertz for this card is very doable. I'm doing 2175 megahertz at the moment. I have seen it do 2190 at times, so the card's got a little bit more in it. But out the box, these cards are pretty much almost at their limit. Everything's coming at you so fast at this speed.
400 yards, turn left. Turn left.
I'm just going to drive through this field here. Sometimes the waypoint is a little bit confusing. So yeah, I think the location for this Forza was great. Mexico was great fun. It had such a wide range of terrain, from the jungle to the desert to the mountains, and then you have the cities as well. It's just like very variable terrain. And whereas Forza Horizon 4 in England, yeah, I mean, it had some off-road kind of dirt tracks, but not many, and it was a little bit boring in my opinion. They did alright with the seasons, with the snow and stuff, but I think this is a better location for sure. And I'm from England, so I should be biased, but I'm not. I'm just telling you, for the game, I think this location is pretty good. I wonder what the next one will be. Okay, 5 miles out now. So yeah, the car's pretty much pegged in the low 60-degree range, which is just amazing. I thought to myself, owning an Gigabyte Aorus Extreme card with 500 watt BIOS, how are they going to cool these cards without 4-slot coolers? And it seems that they beefed pretty much all of the other cars up. Well, they've beefed up all of the coolers
Take the second exit.
to compensate for the extra heat that needs to be dissipated, and it's worked out. You've got a lot of hybrid and AIO choices now as well, got a few more than usual. But you can honestly cool 450 watt with air pretty well.
In 400 yards, turn left. Turn left.
I'm going to show you what the car looks like in the interior. I'm looking forward to Forza Motorsport 8. That's going to be like a true next-gen Forza game. And I want to see how it does against Gran Turismo 7, which is a cross-platform, but you know, it takes so long to build. That's kind of their problem. I want to see some cutting-edge technology being used. And I'm looking forward to that one, because we have another Forza Motorsport game for a long time.
You have arrived at your destination.
Have I? So then why is my... I think they've messed up the waypoint system, because the navigator just said I've arrived at my destination, but I've still got 1 mile to go, which is a bit weird. That might be a bug that needs to squash. Anyway, coming up on the race in a few moments now. It's like a whole lap around the island, so hopefully I do well. The Colossus. Using the car that I'm driving with. Let's do this. A tough race, I'll do my best. And the AI is pretty aggressive as well. Don't expect clean racing. You have to get your elbows out and fend them off when you need to. Don't be ashamed to do it. It's all fair game. So from what I can see, you can expect at extreme settings at 4K around the 80 frames per second range in performance from the RTX 3090 Ti. Which is good, because I mean it's 4K at the end of the day and the game is maxed out. And if you want more performance, you can always reduce anti-aliasing to 2x, which you get some more performance there. So overall you're not gonna have a bad experience. And in games like this, you know, 60 frames is more than enough. Anything more is just a bonus really. Doing well so far, climbing up the pack. 4 cars ahead of me. Gotta pick my moment. But for those wondering, I'm using my Microsoft Xbox 360 pad. If you're wondering why I'm not using the Xbox One X pad, I actually prefer the 360 pad. For me, that is one of the best PC control pads. And the PS5 pad just doesn't seem to be compatible with this game. Okay, 2 more to go. Getting the lead is one thing, staying in the lead is quite another. But the Bugatti definitely has the raw pace to get in front of these guys. They probably got better handling. So there's a trade-off right there. Man, they've cracked my windscreen. For you guys that love the interior view, I'll drive like this for a little bit. I love the way the audio profile changes. It's so much quieter when you're inside the car. Man, that came past me at some pace. Can't let these guys get away. Come on, Bugatti, do not let me down. And the game is just super smooth as well. Which is why I didn't buy the Xbox One or Series X, because if you've got a decent PC, you pretty much get all of the top AAA games on PC now, so it's really, really hard to make an argument to buy an Xbox Series X. So the PlayStation 5 for me was the obvious kind of companion to my PC. And we've got Halo, we've had Gears, we've had obviously the Forza games. Pretty much everything you can think of is coming to the PC now. This has probably been the most we've got out of Microsoft since PC gaming began, so it's awesome what they're doing. Long may it continue. Let's go back to the chase cam. Tired of seeing my cracked windshield. Okay, position 1. I'm going to try and build a little bit of a gap now. Give myself a bit of breathing space just in case I make any mistakes. With a car this fast, you really need to look ahead to avoid crashes like that, because you come up on corners so quickly. You need to give yourself way extra time to brake because of the speed. Into the city now, so we'll be more careful, keeping my foot down. These guys are right on my ass. Oh, come on. Luckily I was able to land within the checkpoint. If you miss a checkpoint, it really, really sets you back. But as I said, these guys, they don't play games when it comes to knocking you out the way. Pretty demanding around here, around about 75 FPS. Very little CPU performance as well. Forza's always been a very optimized title, so you don't need much to get it to run right. Should I be able to take these guys in the next corner? Okay, back in the lead. Try and build that gap that I was mentioning earlier. These guys have got much better cornering performance than me. That top speed will bring it home for me in the end. Yeah, I braked way too heavy there. Wasn't necessary. Chase this guy down. Only 43% of this race has been complete. So the Colossal, sorry, I always say that wrong, is such a massive race. It just shows you how big the island really is. Ah, this is some turning. Got a better exit. Should be able to take this car out in this straight. Very tight turning. These guys are not making it easy for me, as long as I'm in contention. Locked up my brakes there. I've got ABS and traction control off, so you really got to modulate the pressure you hit the triggers, or you'll end up having less braking performance. Okay, these guys are starting to leave me now. I really got to focus. Really hard to get the Diva around tight corners. It's not built for the best handling in the world, but it's like a beast in a straight line. One more tight corner to go. Okay, now we've got some straights. And then these guys are food for me in these situations. There's so much twists and turns around here. Can't really put my foot down. Can't let number one get away. So we're in like the jungle area. This is like the most demanding part of the race, or the actual game. You can see it down into the mid-60s now, so there are very demanding parts on this game. So if you haven't got a powerful GPU and you're trying to play at 4K extreme settings with mid-level anti-aliasing, then you're definitely gonna know about it. But the game looks awesome and it justifies the performance requirements, in my opinion. Get back here. Okay, game's starting to open up now. We are 63% through the race. If I can keep in contention, always got a chance. Very tight corner coming up. Not even sure what this car is. I think it's the IA, whatever it is. It's fast. Gaddy's got some serious speed. Once it breaks that 200 miles per hour barrier, and there's not many cars that can keep up with it. Okay, a few nice straights for me to use to my advantage, because the Gaddy is going to open up on these guys. So now we're kind of approaching like the desert area. And it's quite a bit more forgiving on the GPU. You can see back up to 80 frames per second now. So the range of terrain on this Mexican kind of geography is just amazing. There's just so many different types of terrain. There's a nice power slide out of that corner. We get the Diva now starting to break away from the pack. Tight corner coming up here, try not to lock up. The braking can be awesome if you don't lock up, which is very easy to do. So 81% of the race done now. Not too much longer to go. So don't worry, not all races are like this. This is like a very, very special event. But I wanted to give you guys a proper race, just so you can see what this game is like when you're among more cars. And of course, what's more impressive to me is that the GPU is still at 61 degrees. I mean, it really is a great cooling card. The tough, I cannot state it enough. It's one of the best models that I've ever purchased. The only problem was with my original 3090 was it was just severely power limited. This one is power limited as well, but you can still get a lot of performance out of 460 watts, so it's not as bad. Whereas our original 3090 had a max power limit of 375 watts, which was pretty bad in some games that used a lot of power, like most Unreal Engine games. You could be down into the mid 1800 megahertz range, and yeah, that just wasn't good. It wasn't good enough for me. There's a lot of performance you're leaving on the table there. My Gigabyte Aorus Extreme with the 500 watt BIOS in the same situations could hold over 2 gigahertz, so that's like over 200 megahertz in a core clock you're losing. So yeah, it's definitely worth considering if you're into getting very, very high performance cards, considering the power limit before you make a purchase, because that might give you a bad experience if you like overclocking. I forgot to slow down. Lost a lot of time there. Now I've got these guys back on me. So 95% of the race done now. I can't mess up now. This is pretty much the end. I need to keep my wits about me. Bring it home. Take the proper correct corner entries, and that should be fine. Bringing it home with the Bugatti Divo. What a race. First place, a lot of damage on the car, but hey, everything's aesthetic only, so no loss in performance. They give you a good amount of money for that as well. About 100 grand, that will do. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the look at Forza Horizon 5 on the RTX 3090 Ti extreme settings. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.